Hi Year 3, welcome to your maths video for Tuesday the 12th of January. So this is a video for you if you've got the Year 3 booklet. Now we had lots of fabulous pieces of home learning sent in yesterday when you were completing your first page, page 1, and lots of you even completed the time yourself test, so well done. So today we're going to be moving on to page 2 and you're going to be completing the whole of exercise 2, so all 3 sections again. So let's start off by having a little look at some of the questions you've got in your startup challenge. So in your warm-up right at the top of your page today, you've got very similar questions to yesterday where you're either adding or subtracting a 1-digit number, a multiple of 10 or a multiple of 100. But some of our questions are slightly trickier today because more than one of our place value columns could be changing, okay? So let's start off nice and simple. We've got 435 subtract 30. So I'm subtracting a multiple of 10. So I'm going to find my tens column. So I've got 3 tens there. I'm subtracting 3 tens. So 3 tens take away 3 tens is 0. I've got no tens left. So I've still got my 400. I've now got 0 tens and I've got my 5 ones still left. Right, moving on then. This time we are adding, so make sure you're looking carefully at which operation you're doing, okay? Because they're not all addition and they're not all subtraction, they're all mixed up. So I've got 5 add 296. So when we were looking at these types of questions yesterday, it just seemed to be our ones column that was changing. But if you have a look, 5 add 6, I know that's 11, okay? So I know definitely my tens column is going to change, but if we have a look at my tens column, I've got 9 tens. So if I'm going to add another 10 to that, that's going to be 10 tens, which we know equals 100. So it's going to change my hundreds column too. So with this one, I'm just going to put 296 in my head, and I'm going to count on and add my 5 ones. Can you count with me? You ready? 296, 297, 298, 299, 300, 301, okay? So moving on up here, we've got another addition, and this time we're adding a multiple of 10 to our 3-digit number. But same again, if I have a look at my tens, 6 tens add 5 tens, I know that's 11 tens, and 11 tens is 110. So I know that's going to change my tens column. Now some of you may have added that straight away and just know that that then equals 310. But if you don't, remember we can just count on in our tens. So see if you can count with me. I'm going to put 260 in my head and I'm going to add 5 tens. Let's count on 5 tens. 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 310. Okay. Moving on then to another similar question that you've got in your startup challenge. This time I've got 454 subtract 6. Okay, so I'm taking away 6 ones. Now, another easy way to do this is to cover over your hundreds in this one, because I know I'm subtracting 6 ones. That's not going to change my hundreds column. Okay, so I'm just going to cover it over so it looks a bit easier for me then, because then I've just got to work out 54 subtract 6. So let's count back 6 ones from 54. 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48. But remember, those hundreds are still going to be there, so I need to put my hundreds back on, even though I've covered them over, and then we've got 48. So my answer will be 448. So these are some similar questions to the startup challenge in your book. Moving on then, we've got our intergear challenge section B in your book. So let's have a look at some of the similar questions that you've got in yours. So you've got one question that's very similar to this. Multiply the even numbers, and it gives you a list of different numbers. So I've got 4, 11, 3, 10 and 5. So for this we just need to have a quick recap of our even and odd numbers. So remember, our even numbers are all the numbers that end in 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, so that end in that. Whereas our odd numbers are the numbers that end in 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Okay, So first of all, I'm going to circle the even numbers because it's asked me to multiply them together. So straight away, I know that 4 is an even number. I know that 11 is an odd number because it ends in a 1, okay, and 1 is an odd number. I know 3 is an odd number. And if we have a look closely at 10, ooh, what number does it end in? It ends in 0, so that makes it an even number, and 5 is an odd. So I've found my 2 even numbers. So in your books, when you've found yours, you can just write a calculation to multiply them together. So for my question, I know that 4 times 10 is 40, okay? Another similar question you've got in this section is 16 more than 60, okay? Now more than, if I'm having more, I'm adding, okay? Because I'm going to get even more of it. So I'm going to do 16 add 60. Remember in your book, you can write around your questions to help keep track of your calculations and show you're working out, okay? Now a last similar question that you've got in your books is a sequence like this. So you've got some numbers, so I've got 27, 24, 21, 18, and then you've got a missing number. And this is where you need to work out what the missing number is. So this is where you're going to use your times table knowledge to figure out what the pattern is counting up in or counting backwards in like mine is. So I'm starting with 27. I'm going to work out how many I've taken away to get to 24. So 27 in my head, 27, 26, 25, 24. Ooh, I've subtracted 3. And if you've noticed, this is my 3 times table counting backwards, but I'm just going to triple check. 24, 23, 22, 21. Yep, I'm subtracting 3. So if I'm taking away 3 every time, I need to subtract 3 from 18 to work that out. Now, if you know your times tables, you will know your 3 times table, it's 15. So if we count on our 3s, look, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, okay? Now you will have a different times table than me, so really look closely at the numbers you have been given. So moving on then to the last section in your book, we have the tough challenge, okay? So starting off, we've got a nice word problem. Now remember with our word problems, you need to underline the key words and numbers, okay, to help you solve it. So I've got Jack has 16 sweets. 1/4 of his sweets are blue. How many blue sweets does Jack have, okay? So we started off with 16 sweets. I'm going to underline that. 1/4 of his sweets are blue, and it's asking me how many blue sweets does Jack have. So 1/4, we know we write 1/4 as a fraction, 1/4, okay? So I need to work out 1/4 of 16 to work out how many blue sweets Jack has, because 1/4 of them are blue. Now there's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to show you both ways and you can pick which one that you find the easiest for you. So my fraction here, 1/4, my denominator is telling me how many equal groups to split my 16 sweets into. 4 equal groups. So I'm going to draw my 4 equal groups and I'm going to share my 16 sweets between them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I've shared them out equally. Now, I only want 1/4 and my numerator is telling me I only want one of those groups. How many sweets is in just one of those groups? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is my answer. 4 of Jack's sweets are blue. So that's one way to do it, but that's quite a long way to work out a fraction of an amount. What you might want to do is when you've wrote out your fraction, so I've got 1/4 of 16, another way of working that out, remember I said my denominator is telling me how many equal groups. We divide by the denominator. So I'm going to count in my 4s until I get to 16. So how many 4s are in 16? Can you count in your 4 times table with me? 4, 8, 12, 16. There's 4, okay? And like we did here, we know that the answer was 4. So you can count in your 4s until you get to this number, because it's how many equal groups. Now the last couple of questions on that page include time. So you'll be looking at weeks, days, seconds, minutes and hours. Now most of you know your time, so you'll be absolutely fine with that. But what you might want to do is, if you have a look right at the front of your book, you've got a page of useful information, and it's got a whole section on time where it gives you some top tips. So it tells you that in 1 hour there's 60 minutes, in 1 week there's 7 days. So if you're struggling with some of those time questions, have a look at this page of useful information, because it's there to help you. Now once you've finished page 2, if you want to give yourself another challenge, which I know we're really capable of in Year 3, remember to turn to the back again. So that was page 29, and you've got your time yourself test, and you can have a go at test 2. So don't forget to send us pictures of your fabulous work, Year 3, and I'll see you soon.